Hey there, Kevin. A lot of people say that professional wrestling is fake, and some of the people that are more into professional wrestling will say, no, it's not really accurate to call it fake. It's more accurate to call it staged. And their reasoning is that since all the stunts are real, require real physical ability and cause real pain, that you can't really call it fake. Now, I agree it would be wrong to say that it's all fake, but I don't really know that saying that it's fake is inaccurate. Now I'm figuring, in this case, what's meant by fake is having the appearance of a thing without actually being the thing. And what wrestling has the appearance of is a sport. Now, if you think about a play, people don't call plays fake, which is probably what the people that say wrestling should be considered staged rather than fake would appeal to. But plays also don't represent themselves as being something that's real, which wrestling does hold itself out as a sport. Now, you might say that people watch sports to see masterful displays of skill and high-level physical ability. And you could say in support of that point that the high-level series, the major leagues, for example, like NBA or F1, are way more popular than the lower level minor leagues, like the WNBA or F2. Now, while I think that's certainly a factor, I think the more significant thing is competition. Because if you think about it, there are people who do watch those lower series. And how do you explain that? You could say that people like to watch these particular sets of skills so much that they'll even watch people who are at a lesser level, which is not generally what we would expect. In some sense, this might expect people to say the people that are really into it really, really want to watch the highest level. But, yeah, that one could go either way. But here's another thing. Think about fans of a particular team or a particular player. If you're going off the position that the reason they watch is to watch high-level performance, then what's the point of being a fan of a particular team or player? So that's why I say competition is the more important thing than the display of skill. But display of skill is still important, and that's why the higher level series are more watched, because if you're going to watch for the competition, you might as well get the highest skill while you're doing it. Here's another comparison I'd like to make. If you think about like a sports manga or something, that's another thing where you wouldn't say that that's fake. but it's also very clearly not pretending to be the actual sport. It's just a story about the sport. To put it in other words, while both wrestling and sports manga use sports as a medium to tell their story, only wrestling has the appearance of being an actual sport. And that's what makes it fake. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier about the reason people watch sports is there are also people that listen to sports on the radio, which makes it harder for them to be able to appreciate the skill aspect of the sport, though you can still get that based on the description of what's going on, so it's not a sure thing.